So, how's everyone feeling after yesterday, right? Well, we all need a good reality check sometimes and a good kick in the butt. I know it was for me when we have to sit back and identify the things that we need to grow out of or to overcome, right? The good news is today, as we look at the ways, seven more ways, but these ways are ways that we can overcome, that are going to empower us to step into that life that we are created to live. All right. So, um, before we get started, just a reminder, if you're not in my Facebook group already, you want to pop in there because after watching the videos, you want to go see what the action steps are for each day. All right. Let's see. Okay. So the seven things that we can do to empower us to overcome those obstacles that we talked about, yesterday. The seven things that we can do to propel us into on the path of the journey to the life that we're created to live are going to be gratitude, love, passion, humility, discipline, integrity, and wisdom. All right, so let's dive into this a little bit. All right, so first off, we're going to start with gratitude. We want to be grateful and love where we are and where we're going. Now, I think it was day two, we talked a little about this when we sat down and evaluated the different areas of life. Our exercise was to be grateful for where we're at, and at the same time, to be thankful for the things that we have and what we're experiencing and look forward to the journey ahead of us, right? So we've already experienced a little of that. And this is big. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, especially in the month of November, being posting on Facebook or Instagram, all the things that you're thankful, something every day, or gratitude journals are big. And while that is a good habit and instrumental, one thing I've always thought about doing is in the morning you wake up, when I before I even get out of bed and I connect with my Lord and I just thank Him for the day before, thank Him for the blessings that I have. You just want to instill that into everything that you do, because life's not a destination, right? Life is a journey, and so we want to be grateful for everything. We don't want to be always pushing for over here and not being grateful for what we have right here. Ephesians 5:20 says, "Give thanks always and for everything to God the Father in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ." So unfortunately, this also means being grateful for the bad things, right? How many of us have gone through bad times, had problems come our way, sometimes of our own doing, and sometimes things outside of our control? We need to look at those and to flip them around. Or you've had experiences of things that didn't go right and you think you failed. Whether it's a bad experience or a failure, we want to flip that around and see what can we learn from that. I know it can be hard to be thankful when we're going through times or going through things that we didn't ask for or wasn't what we expected, but we can learn from these things. And that's part of the growth mindset that we talk about a lot in my Facebook group. So, yes, so we want to flip those things around. Yes, Connie, it is so hard. It is hard. And I'm not trying to say to make light of it, but one of the things we're going to get to is discipline, and it has to be a discipline. It has to be a mindset of looking at those things, changing the way we see things, right? All right. The second thing, well, before we go to that, is because if we focus on the positive, we attract more positive, right? And that can't be disputed. We attract what we think about, we focus on. And this is what I was going to say. It's a lot of what we talk about in many of my programs. We talk about mindset because it is so key, and it's been so instrumental in my life. So we just want to make sure that we have the right mindset. All right. The second one, the second accelerator that's going to push us along the journey of where we want to go is going to be love. We want to give it, and we want to receive it. Now, again, I'm going through these here quickly, so it seems simplistic, but one thing I want to say about love is if you've been hurt, you need to forgive. Not for the other person. Forgiveness is for yourself as well, right? Because we need to move past that hurt and that pain and not stay in that place that allows us to not experience life and kind of put up the walls of safety around us. Again, that's also a blocker that creates a fixed mindset. We need to break down those blockers and keep moving forward on our journey. 1 Corinthians 13:13 says, "So now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, but the greatest of this is love," right? Now, this includes self-love, and I'm not talking about the self-absorbed, I am amazing kind of self-love, but the self-love is acknowledging you were here for and created for a purpose, and more than that, who created you, all right? Number 3 is passion. The passion is kind of the trump card because passion is when you're passionate about something, it can knock down those barriers, can break through those walls, especially ones of like laziness or fear, right? When you're passionate about something, it empowers you to do the things that you feel passionate about, right? It helps you overcome. Now, all of these accelerators will help you overcome obstacles. But passion is kind of that bulldozer that will push through them quicker than anything else. Colossians 3:23 says, "Work willingly at whatever you do, as though you're working at it for the Lord," right? Rather than for people. Passion gives you the fuel to keep going, especially when you have the right focus and the right perspective in life. All right, next up is humility. Humility is something we want to embrace, but don't ever mistake humility for weakness because they are not the same. Humility is quiet confidence, right? It's not the braggart, but it's knowing, and you will see a thread here. A lot of these tie together, but it's knowing who you belong to. It's knowing you have a purpose and being to step forward, step by step in a way that ways. Because life is not about you, right? That's something that, we have to start learning at an early age, that life is not about us. We are here to serve and we're here to help others and point them to Christ. There's two ways to learn humility. One is by practice, and by far it's the one I recommend, because the other is the hard way. You ever heard pride comes before the fall? So we want to take the steps and cultivate humility in our lives and guard against that. All right, next up is discipline. Discipline essentially is delayed gratification. Rewards that are not immediate have much more value to us, whether it's an external reward that we've worked towards or something within ourselves. I love this, day one, we talked about the Ola book, and this is where this is all coming from. But there's a story in here under discipline that I want to share with you. And because I'm not going to be able to do it justice, I think it does it very well here. Actor Will Smith, in an interview with Tavis Smiley on PBS, was asked what he attributes his great success. He ascribes to his work ethic and discipline. He said, this is what I want you to get. The only thing that I see that is distinctively different about me is I'm not afraid to die on the treadmill. I will run. I will not be outworked, period. You might have more talent than me. You might be smarter than me. You might be sexier than me. You might be all of those things. You got me on those 9 categories. But if we get on the treadmill together, there's 2 things. You're getting off first, or I'm going to die. That's real simple. And it gives that kind of feeling of it doesn't matter of what everybody else has. It matters what's inside you. It imagines that you see the vision and that you run towards it because you believe in it. You believe in the purpose that you were here, that you were created to do and be. All right. So, because discipline, real discipline, self-discipline comes from inside. All right. Integrity. Integrity set is, by definition, adherence to moral and ethical standards, soundness of character, and honesty. And no one can dispute that that is a good thing to cultivate in our life, right? Proverbs 10:9 says, people with integrity walk safely, but those who follow crooked ways will be exposed. We need to take responsibility for our actions. We need to take responsibility for our situations. And sometimes it means taking responsibility for things that we didn't cause, but we're saying, okay, this is my life. I'm taking responsibility for it, and I'm going to get myself out or get myself where I need to go or get my family where I need to go. Even if outside circumstances have put you someplace that you did not want to be or that you did not personally cause, you still need to take responsibility for how you're going to respond to that, what your response reactions are going to be. I know I did a video a while back on the equation E plus R equals O. E is your experience, R is your response, and O is your outcome. And now there's 3 things. The only thing you have full control over is your reaction or response. But that can change the outcome, right? So we need to take responsibility. We need to keep our word, not only with others, but with ourselves. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do is when we have pressures, at work and with family and whatever else is going on. If we've made a promise to ourselves or we've decided to take a step in a certain direction, that discipline comes in handy. But it's also that integrity with ourselves that will keep us on the path that we've begun. All right. Last but not least is wisdom. And I love this one. I'm working on a line of journals to kind of walk you through the Bible. And the first one we did was Proverbs because it's the book of wisdom. And Proverbs 31, well, in Proverbs, there's 31 Proverbs, and it's a great one a day. And that's whatever someone is looking for wisdom, that's a great place to start because it's more than knowledge. Um, Although wisdom is much more than knowledge, it's heavy on logic and light on emotion, which is something that I think a lot of us struggle with sometimes, is separating with what we know with what we feel. The other thing to think of is you can be young or old and attain wisdom because you can attain wisdom from the experience that you've experienced and the experience of others, learning from others, right? And of course, the best is going to be a mixture of the two, both. Proverbs 4:7 says, getting wisdom is the wisest thing you can do. And whatever else you do, develop good judgment. So the wisest thing you can do is develop wisdom, and we need to go after that. All right. So as we have gone through another day of our Balance and Grow Your Life challenge, make sure you pop in the group Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, a faith-based journey to do more, give more, and serve more for today's action steps. It's going to have to do with developing these, identifying these, implementing these: gratitude, love, passion, humility, discipline, integrity, and wisdom. It's a full plate. And incorporating these all in our life is going to help us to get on that journey a little faster of becoming the person we're created to be. Acknowledging, and if you have no idea what you are here for, you're like, Linda, you're saying I have a purpose, and I believe it because God's word says it, but I don't know what that purpose is. It's a journey, step by step. We're going to evaluate our life. We did that day two. Cast a vision for our life, right? Then we're going to acknowledge the things in us that are holding us back. That was day three, the blockers. We're going to get rid of them. Then we're going to start implementing the things that are good for ourselves, the things that we talked about today. And we're going to ask God to reveal to us what he wants us to do. And as we go through step by step, taking one step day by day, process of faith, stepping out in faith and doing the things we know that are good for us, he will reveal to us what he wants us to do. He will put us in situations that shows us the action steps we're to take. And I say that to encourage you. And tomorrow, day 5 of the Balance and Grow Your Life workshop, as we wrap up this challenge, we're going to focus on setting goals and creating a plan and how to make this all come to fruition in our lives. So I will see you then.